told you? Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? You what? God design.
What's the deal, Boerboels? Oh, yes. Congratulations. We made it another week. Can you believe it? Oh, yes. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here. I hope that y'all is feeling so excited too. I hope that you is ready for today's show. You know what time it is. You know what we do here, y'all, right? If you don't know, this is the Boerboel Show, where we discuss this breed that we love, the best dog on earth. We talk about everything that you need to know that you didn't know. We talk about the breed. We talk about breeding the Boerboels. We talk about this goes across breeds. This is not just exclusive to the Boerboel. This is about the main feature in the Boerboel, but at the same time, this information you can use and apply to multiple different businesses, multiple different breeding practices, breeding programs across breeds. And at the end of the day, this is a celebration show. This is a community-based show where we celebrate the breed that we love, the breed that we feel is the best dog on earth. And I'm your host, the unhinged Boerboel breeder. Yes, exotic Boerboels, Jordan Pittman. Yes, you heard about me. Yes, I'm unhinged. Yes, I'm crazy about these dogs. I give them my all. I done spent so much time with the Boerboels. They was born around the same time that I was born, and I feel like it's the perfect dog for me because of the type of person that I am, because of the type of lifestyle that I live. This is the excellent, the most beautiful dog that you could possibly have. They have so many traits and so many virtues. I'm your host. And a lot of what I'm saying is coming from over 17 years of experience involved intimately with this breed, day in and day out. I don't miss a day. Every day is about me. We with the dogs. Bringing to the stage is my co-host, the beast in the business of Boerboels. He's known for producing millions and millions of views. When you're talking about the Boerboel breed, you can't miss him. His name is Jason Gibson with Savage Kingdom Boerboels, the beast in the Boerboel business. What's going on with my bro, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, brother? Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate you, brother. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, listen, I'm excited to be here. I can't believe I was looking at the show. I've been reviewing the footage, going back over it again and again and again. I was like, wow, I'll be looking at this like that's really me on there talking like this and going over these things. I didn't even know it was like that. I even enjoy watching it myself. So I want to make it even better than before.
Yes, I get lost in the episodes too, man. I'll be going back, streaming them, constantly going back, writing notes, man, because what we doing is good and it's getting better every episode. So that the evolution, the elevation of what we got going on here, man, I'm digging it. I'm going through my notes, man, all the copious notes that you sent me, man. Hey, Jordan be sending me packets of stuff, man, to go through, man. So while I'm sitting back here and he doing the introduction, I'm going through hair and makeup and going through my notes and stuff.
Make sure we on the same page. Make sure we on the same page, bro, because hey, we got to deliver, man. We said we gonna be here. We gonna give them something valuable, something that they can use, some news. So we got to make sure that we come through like we said we going to, man.
Every day we working. I'm telling you, we got our homework, our pamphlets, our packets we go through every week. We're back here behind the scenes, making sure that we can give you guys a good, entertaining, and informational show. And man, as you know, on my end, this has been a busy heck of a week so far, and it's just Thursday.
Right, for sure.
I had my puppies going home, man. So all of them but one have went to their new home. The last one, the last owner can't pick it up until I think next weekend. So I got that one just a little bit longer, but all the rest of them are at their new homes and the clients are loving them. So that's been an up this week.
Yeah, man, that's truly a blessing because I must tell you what, it's a lot of people sitting on dogs right now. And then the market isn't in a gridlock. There's so many puppies that don't get introduced. And listen, so that's truly a blessing, man. I'm proud of you, man.
we got to answer for that. So remember what he just said. There's a lot of people sitting on dogs, but I don't know if we're going to reveal it later on in this show, but we got to answer for you sitting on puppies and your dogs. We got to answer for that. And it's going to lead into something that sort of happened to me this week. If some of you guys don't know, yesterday morning, I lost my Instagram. My page was deleted, hacked, taken over. I don't know. I have no access to it. I'm working to try to get it back. But we're going to make a positive out of a negative because I'm still getting calls through Facebook and through every other source. So everything's still good. So we just got to get it out the mud again. And we got to answer for everybody who's struggling out there. And part of our comeback is going to be part of it. So if you've been looking for me on Instagram, that's what happened. I lost my page. You can still follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and I just so happened the day before I lost my Instagram, I just started TikTok. So I just started TikTok. Then the next day I lost my Instagram. Hopefully I'm able to get it back. But if I don't, we just gonna do it again.
That's right.
Do it all over again.
And because
and
guess
last
what?
time I did it by myself, and this time I got Jordan with me. I got the team with me, all the Savage Kingdom Boerboels, and my buddies out there, the Boer buddies. So if I can do it once with a team, I can double it. So it's not bad news. I just apologize for anybody that's been looking for me on Instagram. So now you officially know why you can't find Savage Kingdom, but you still have Florida, Midwest, Louisiana, and our Californians getting on the way. But hopefully I get the page back. Worst case scenario, I'll start a new page and we'll reach out through our platforms and let you know. But it's all good. We're still going to keep moving. Puppies are still moving. Information still flowing. And I'm ready to give you guys the show this week.
For sure. Hey, listen, bro. I know it's tough, man, but I want to be here to encourage you, man. You did this. This is not by chance. This is not no coincidence. I could see, hold on, but let me pop out because y'all know I might be, listen, let me pop out real quick. This is the new Boerboel shirt. You know how we do it, y'all. From the flow to the moon, we out of this world. It's got me feeling like $1 million. It even got me feeling like I've been working out because the way that it's fitted, you feel me? So don't
Boerboel Universe.
Yeah, we going way up, y'all. We out of this world. Come on, you can get you one too.
Boerboel Universe and soon to come, Boerboel University. I'm not gonna say nothing else. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I promise, Jay. I had to say a little something. Boerboel Universe, Boerboel University.
It's coming, y'all.
I'm gonna shut up.
It's hold on, yeah, we can give them too much because hey, listen, hold on now, yeah, because it's coming, y'all. But this is what we on our way. And bro, because you went viral how many times, man? Come on, that's not
between 13 and 16. I lost count at 13, so a little bit over 13 times viral. So those are videos that have more than 1 million views. So if anybody can go viral once or twice, but 13 times, come on, I just got to get it out the mud again. But now I got you. I got my franchise. I got my other Boerboel buddies out there and a loyal following. So if I did it once, you can do it again. So despite what happened, we can build it out the mud again. If we have to, if I don't get it back, we just make it bigger and stronger. And it gave me a lot more time to focus on Boerboel breakdown and discuss. That's right. Because this is our thing now, the podcast. This is our new thing.
This the next biggest thing on the internet. This is cool, bro. It's cool. It's no worries. We're gonna get off into the breakdown, the discussion of that topic of the discussion today, because we got something that's very important and it's something that I've always been interested in from the beginning. So I wanted to make sure, you know, that I was breaking down that video. I got over 120 something clips. You know what I'm saying? A deep analysis of when we spoke with the chairman. I thought that was huge. I felt like we can gather some very important historical points regarding the breed, the standard, the future direction of the breed, the modern space of the breed. And I really broke that down. So I got some good points. But one of the things that was very interesting to me was the inheritability, because we facing this gene pool situation. And I think that that's a very important topic of discussion because of the long-term impacts that it has, right? Because the genetic base, the population, this is what we're working with, that how we arrived at this dog that we love, because it's the total genetic package, right? It's got the health, it's got the athleticism, it's got the build, it's got all of these different traits and features, right? And so we have to get into the way that it's being passed down from generation to generation. I want to make sure that everybody knows, because it's a very complicated subject. But what we have done today is aim to simplify it, right? So we're going to get off into the way that these things is broken down. We're going to try to explain it in the most simplest terms, because it's very deep, and you get into biology and all of these different theories, 162 different genomes and chromosomes and L's and all of this stuff. What does it mean, and how does it apply to you and your breeding program? How can you use this information to arm yourself and become a more knowledgeable, more active, more involved breeder or enthusiast? What do you aim to select for? What are your desires? What are your goals? This helps you to isolate the dogs that can possibly be of value to you. So let's get off into the first slide. We got a slideshow for y'all, board buddies. Check the first. I've been doing research. I've been doing my homework. I'm putting this together. I want to make sure that it's informative. So we got the slides. I feel
and when you say homework, he not playing, man. I feel like I'm back in school again, man. I got graphs and pie charts. I'm sitting over here, man. I'm over here on Google Quiz trying to figure out stuff, man. Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, but it's so, and it's so elaborate. It's so much wide of a topic. It's so big. It's so much to learn. It's like you gonna be. I've been studying this for seriously, especially with this breed, the lines, bloodlines, genetics, for over a decade.
Okay, so today you're gonna the heritability measures and how much the genetic factors contribute to the variations in traits among individuals in a population.
Right. So that is about, so even though all of these dogs are related, right?
Okay.
All of these dogs have inherited certain traits and characteristics that we deem to be assets, valuable traits, virtues, so to speak. So you end up with a very distinct dog, but you see some Boerboels are bigger than others. Some Boerboels are look more powerful. They have bigger heads. They have bigger chests. They have different genetic packages. Part of that has to do with the way that this genetics interact with the environment, right? So
yes, I like to break it down into simple terms before Jordan gets real complicated and gives you the meat. I want some of you who look at sports to look at it as a sports team, particularly football. Football, you have 11 players on the field. You have defensive linemen. You have offensive linemen that are relatively the same. You have receivers and you have defensive backs that are relatively the same. And then you have linebackers and you have running backs that are all at the peak of athleticism, but they inherited a little bit different size, a little bit of different speed, a little bit of different structure for those positions. And so if you're looking for an ultimate football player, which would be the Boerboel, Jordan's about to break that down, how everybody got these certain traits and these certain factors, along with practices, what the practices / environment played into it.
Right. That's a great explanation too. A very key way to evaluate the differences in the varieties. So in order to arrive at the football, and to be a football player, you got to carry a certain genetic package that's going to allow you to have these physical traits and characteristics that deem you to be able to excel in the football. So you're going to be naturally bigger. You're going to be naturally stronger, right? And we know that many people fit into this physical description, but the way that they interact in this environment, are they going through the training? Do they have the drive? Do they have the discipline? These things factor into the way that these traits are inherited. So yes, we all have the same genetic base, but the way that the genes are going to be expressed, it has to do with the environment, and that's the inheritability factor. So we're going to move on to the next slide. So some traits such as height, such as weight, such as the pigment of the skin, the eye color, the color of your hair. These traits have a higher heritability because they are directly related to your parents, right? So you can't be any higher, any taller, or you can't change certain things about your build, about your appearance based off of the way that they are passed down from your parents. This is just unfortunate. I mean, this is just the way the genetics work. You cannot be somebody that you can't. And certain traits have a lower incidence of heredity. These have more to do with the environmental influences. This has a way that your life routines, how you're eating, how you're feeding, how you're training, the way that you're burning calories. All of these different things affect the way that you also have an impact on your appearance. So those are the lower ranking heritable traits, right? So you when you're looking at a breeding program, you're going to, so you can think about it as a football team because you're in the game and you're trying to win, right? So when you're thinking about these traits, so you're not going to just go and pick a big person. You want to see that he also carries the drive, the discipline, the work ethic that's going to allow him to be successful. It's like those what they call intangibles. So yeah, a person may be able to jump high, a person may be able to hit the bench harder, right? A person may be able to do 225 reps more than the next person, right? But that doesn't necessarily translate into performance. That doesn't necessarily translate into the way that he succeeds or fails on the field. Those are lower inheritable traits. So when we basing our selections off of appearance, it's easy to get confused with a higher rank and valuable dog versus a lower rank dog because we're not factoring necessarily in the performance. So let's get into the next slide so we can go why that this makes a big difference, right?
And let me dumb it down a little bit for you real quick. Is one of the speech patterns and one of the things I give my clients when they pick up a puppy and they start talking about some of the stuff. And I tell them, look, I'm 5'7", 205 pounds of fat, right? I say I can get in shape. I can get in shape because of my environment. I can get down to 150 pounds and be athletic and have some muscle. But there's nothing in my diet. There's nothing that anybody ever fed me that could have made me Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was never going to be 6'2". I was never going to be 260, 70 pounds of muscle because that's not in my genetics. And that's what Jordan is breaking down. So my environment, my eating, I'm in bad shape because of the environment and what I eat. And some dogs can have a little bit of effect on their weight and some things because of their environment, but you're not going to make a lion killer out of a sheep tamer, right?
Right.
You just can't do it. So I can't be. There was nothing I ever could have ate that would have made me Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was always going to be 5'7", right? I could be a healthy 170, 180 pounds, but I was never going to be a healthy 260, 270.
Right, but you can still excel and you can still reach your greatest potential because you might be a sniper, you might be a marksman, you might be a shooter, a trigger puller. You know what I'm saying? You could be a scientist, you could be, but if we selecting you for a football team, let's say the game of life where we need you, to have certain skills, you might be the better at a coach, assistant coach. You know what I'm saying? You might be better at running plays. You better be better, so we'll use your talents and fit them in with their work. A lot of times what happens with we going for this, we want the football look, but we don't necessarily know what all it comes with. We don't know what in order to successfully cultivate that football player, right? We want a football player, but we don't know how to cultivate a football player. So you have to, it has to do with the training, your selection, so on and so forth. But don't never get it twisted. Every dog still has a value. It's the bottom line. What we're saying, and you want to select based off of your lifestyle, based off of your criteria. What do you aim to achieve when you purchase this puppy, right? What role is it supposed to fulfill in your life? And that's where you're coming. That's where this evaluation of the inheritable traits comes into effect for the whether you're an enthusiast, whether you're a breeder, whether you're a new owner, or so on and so forth. It's like you picking your ideal player, right?
Yes,
You want
sir.
to, you're basing it off of certain traits like speed, strength, so on and so forth, intelligence, drive, so on and so forth. So certain traits, if you're looking at a dog, you're able to see, well, like, well, yeah, that's a, yeah, in true in fact, because we have all the same genetic base, certain dogs are going to appear to be more Boerboel, right? But when you start getting into the show class or the show variety, some of those dogs end up becoming X'd out, right? Because they are not close to the ideal of the show standard, right? They want to show a very specific look, a very specific desired effect when the dog in terms of appearance. So that factors into play. So what we're doing effectively is culling, right? And then we have a and what is culling? Culling is the elimination of certain dogs or certain traits that probably have an adverse health. Is a good way to explain it. They would not survive on their own, right? So certain species end up becoming obsolete because they cannot. They do not, only in nature, only the strongest survive, right? You picking up what I'm putting down? Okay.
Yes.
So artificial culling or artificial selection, what happens is we pick based off of certain traits and characteristics that we deem to be viable, that we deem to be valuable because of our desired selection. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the role that the dog plays, and that's where the issue is. The failing is because we sometimes will select dogs that may be not be of the optimal health. They might not be in the best in terms for breeding, right? And talk about long-term longevity, viability of a breed. So you're looking at, this is why that is not nobody never wanted to really get into inbreeding. When I always pose that question about inbreeding, because basically purebred dog breeding is inbreeding. It is not an option when you're talking about purebred dogs. It's requirement, right? That means that the gene pool is closed. We're only going to select from this because we want to achieve a desired look, a desired effect, right? So we
So
only
some would say that is the inbreeding and closing the loophole on outside dogs is a great way to get the dog you want, but a terrible way to maintain the dog that you want. So to get to where you want to be, to get this breed to where you want to be, you got to keep that gene pool as close and as tight together with the specific traits you want. But when you get there, just like the Queen of England, if you get too much and you too long, you start to stagnate and start to not be able to progress or even maintain what you have.
exactly, that's the scientific term for that is inbreeding depression. And that's when
Inbreeding depression. Okay.
inbreeding depression, that's the scientific term. That's when the breed starts to lose its vigor, it loses its vitality, it loses its fertility, it starts to have smaller litter size, it's the lower milk production, higher mortality rates, less puppies in the beginning, bigger C-section rate, bigger artificial insemination rates. These is the equates to the fitness, the loss of fitness within a gene pool. When you start to see health defects, higher incidence of, the failure of the organs, failure of the heart, failure of the kidneys, failure of the spine. These are they have a conditions note associated with all purebred dogs because of this inbreeding effect. So basically what's happening in dogs, we start off, let's say the original Boerboel. We're pulling from this gene pool, right? We're pulling from we may have blues, these different colors, right? All represent different genetic packages that are contributing that are contributing to the breed, right? So when you have all of these different packages, you have variance in the breed. Some you don't breed true to type. You don't have a pure breed, a breed that is reproducing consistently the same exact variety of the previous generation. You're going to have some dogs are going to be taller. You're going to have color variations. And because of that, you select the dogs that are desired. You handpick, okay, from this previous generation, you knew that you wanted to improve the height, you wanted to improve the head, you wanted to improve the angulation. So you move on to the next generation, and you don't have all of this variation. You only select the dogs that have these traits. You only select the dogs that have these characteristics. I'm still here, family. I'm still here. The Mike,
Okay.
but I'm still with you. So hold on, let me see something here. But yeah, so you get into, so the next generation, we might have still we looking for improvements. We have 3 or 4 generations out, we arrive at this dog Rambo, right? When
Okay.
you see these colors of green, yellow, and blue, means that it's passing. This means that it's carrying the traits that's desired. This means that this is a dog that we're going to champion, right? So let's just use that Rambo in this example. Okay. So we're talking about Rambo because let me see. Hold on, let me get my camera back on.
Okay.
We're going to use Rambo as an example because Rambo is the dog, it's a dog that's well known. It's a dog that is it's a dog that's heavily populated in our gene pool. So we're just going to use that name. He's been heavily used. He's heavily featured in a lot of breeding programs. He is regarded as one of the best producing dogs in the history of the breed. We're very happy. We can all agree with Rambo offsprings.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And as we always say, every show we're going to come with you with some situations, some stuff that's not looking good, or some stuff that can be done better. But we're always going to come to you with what? A solution. So we're going to come with you with issues, and then we're going to come solutions. We're not just going to have problems on Boerboel breakdown and discussion. We're going to think about ways to help things get better all the time. So we'll always try to have a solution or somebody on that can help us give a solution to what we might be facing. Because remember, we got the perfect dog in the Boerboel, but then at some point you'll get what? You'll get inbreeding what, Jordan?
Inbreeding depression.
Inbreeding depression.
This is what also has made the French Mastiff, the English Mastiff, the Neapolitan Mastiff, a lot of these pure breed dogs that we deem to be useless or don't carry the working traits, don't have the desirable traits, don't have the desirable health. How did those dogs come from dogs of war, dogs that were very valuable once in society? How did they arrive at this point of uselessness that they are no longer desired? They no longer cherished for their abilities, which is a very problematic. Why do they have such health defects and issues amongst non-purebred dogs? Why is that such a big issue? Why do we want to avoid that with the Boerboel? Because the Boerboel is the breed. Remember, it's the most athletic Mastiff. It's the most healthiest of the Mastiffs, right?
Yes.
And that was the original Boerboel. That was this Boerboel. That was this Boerboel right here. That had this varied gene pool. That had this variety of contributors. That had, the Mastiff genetics, the interior genetics, and all of the hound genetics, all of these, the bulldog genetics, all of these contributors. That's why we have all of these different colors representing the DNA, the variation in the DNA. As we fast forward to modern times, we arrive here, which is because we have eliminated certain things from the breed that we did not want. We arrive at this dog Rambo, who is very desirable because we have basically streamlined the breeding. We have eliminated undesired traits through this selection process.
So selectively culling, like maybe selectively culling some colors.
Exactly. There you go.
And so if we selectively cutting out colors, that's not the only thing you can lose when you do that. If you're cutting out a whole gene of dogs just because the color of their coats, then is a possibility you could be losing other stuff with that color.
Exactly. And because we have eliminated this whole section of colors, right? We also have doubled up on certain defects, certain detrimental.
Like that. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because we have eliminated the undesired colors. We have also eliminated certain desired traits, because we got to admit at the same time, we don't want to be naive. These genetics come in packages. So we fast forward to, here we go, Rambo 2 Alpha. Now, let's just say we're just using these dogs' names for sake of familiarity. We start talking about, we're not really saying the exact dog Rambo or the exact dog Alpha.
Just giving you a basis to look at, right? We're just giving you a starting point.
Right. So we're talking about Rambo 2. This would be the prodigal Alpha, or so now we have basically the genetic desired package. This dog also has, you see the consistency in the genes across the board. You see the colors. This is why he is exactly what we want him to be. We consider him to be one of the highest scored dogs of all time, one of the most valuable Boerboels of all time, right? So you're getting into Rambo, but guess what? He had a shortened lifespan. He didn't go far. He didn't go and last into long age. So at the sacrifice, because we have arrived at the desired genetic look, we have sacrificed a bit of the health, right? And this is something that we don't know exactly why the dog passed away earlier, but we do know one thing for a fact, that it did not outlive this as other previous generations. Okay. Remember, inbreeding inbreeding depression has a direct effect on the longevity of a breed, right? Because you tend to, the organs, remember, we start talking about the stray, the random crossbred dog, the original Boerboel. He had this variety of genes. He was able to be bred without the heat lamps. He didn't need assistance. They didn't have artificial insemination. They didn't have the C-sections. So what happens? This dog is able to survive off of table scraps. He doesn't need the intervention of the vet. He doesn't need the supplementation of the breeder. He's able to survive because of this very gene pool that Mother Nature created, the genetic package that allow him to survive in this terrain. And if not, those species die off. Okay. So we get down here. Here we got the dog Alpha with the shorter lifespan, because he has these traits. We're basically set in our type, set in our genetic package that's going to be carried to the future generations. So all Boerboels that have that combination of Rambo and Peepa, or Rambo and Tricks, produced these light blues, the very aesthetically desirable, pleasing traits, but they also have this genetic package that has possible defects, has potential shortfalls. Because of that, all dogs within this gene pool, all modern Boerboels that carry this, and we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is, but we do know that it has this desired look, and we has this genetic package. Because of that, we don't know what the health effects are until they start to become a problem.
So we were getting the head we want, the jaw power we want, the top line. We were getting everything we wanted out of this dog in abundance, but we weren't able to keep the dog for long.
Exactly.
It came at a trade-off at? Where's the trade-off at?
That's the trade-off. That's the costs.
Okay.
Right. So it's a nice dog, but we don't have it for very long.
Yeah.
Right?
So we want to figure out a way to keep everything we want, get it a little bit better, but keep that dog around for longer. If we can get like some breeds, it's a mastiff, so unfortunately you're not getting too much past 12 years. But if we can get up to 12 years consistently, get some dogs hitting 15, 16 years healthy, still able to do their thing, that should be one of our primary goals. And one of the ones I know you're working on, one of the ones I know definitely Terry's working on, our boy Terry, in Southern Ohio Boerboel. So he's definitely with his true standard Boerboels. He's working on that. So there's a couple of things that Coach Pittman is going to give us towards the end of here that'll help new coming breeders and established breeders be able to do that with some of their programs.
Right, because at the end of the day, we looking for to maintain this breed in the way that it was intended to be, as the healthiest, most athletic mastiff, the most impressive mastiff, the most valuable mastiff, the best defender of the homestead, the best family companion. So I'm using this next slide to illustrate why we can't continue with the closed gene pool breeding, why we have to allow fresh genetics, because if we double up and let's say all these dogs are related to this single carrier of a known genetic defect that's causing the dogs to have this shorter lifespan, right? We don't know why, because it's a mutation and it hasn't necessarily expressed itself. All we know is dogs are not living as long as they once did. So the answer is, if we breed another generation, and let's say we did the health test and we did everything, the genetic test, and we arrive at the next generation, we still have the same genetic package. And it ends up, if we don't solve the problem, the answer to the problem is going to be new, fresh genetics that also carry similar desired traits and abilities, right? So now this allows us to bring in fresh, new gene pool. When you talk about the developmental registry and you're able to identify dogs based off of their values and their virtues, this is what we talk about. This is where the developmental registry comes into play. This is why we want to have an inclusive platform for all Boerboels to come to play, because when you start to eliminate this remember, we eliminated this certain genes, the reds, the pinks, the greens. We eliminated that from the gene pool.
So it sounds like we're possibly talking about bringing in some new old blood.
Right, with the K gene. We're going to use the K gene as an example of why it was necessary, why it was valuable, why it was a good thing for the breed, why we're able to continue with this history of healthy dogs, valuable dogs, beautiful dogs, because of the addition of the K gene, addition of these so-called disqualifying colors, right? Because we did something that was very unheard of with the Boerboel breed when we allowed those dogs to participate.
One quick example is, and we'll cover some more of this in depth, is when I was first getting into the game about 5 years ago, the black Boerboel was making a strong comeback in the Boerboel community, if I'm correct. And for a while, at appraisals and shows, the black Boerboel, who was excluded for a long time, was winning top dog in a lot of shows and appraisals. And I would assume that's because they had the new old blood in them, and some of the diversity that was making the dog great in the beginning that had started getting lost was being able to be filtered back in. Not from a different breed, not from bringing in a different dog that wasn't Boerboel or a mutt, but just bringing something in that wasn't desirable, but it was necessary to bring back in. Again, not add something new, bring something old back.
It's more of I would say that it's bringing in a fresh genetic base, a fresh genetic package. So it's not necessarily something that's it's not totally different, but we was culling against the color. We were eliminating those colors anytime that they arrived and they presented themselves, right? And
solely based on the color, not because of anything else as far as structure, durability, the temperament. Nothing that made you a great dog was the reason. It was solely on the color of its skin, our fur.
A color preference, exactly.
A color preference. There you go.
Then you start including this new color. Okay, so we figured out, okay, yes, the black dog has value because it's undeniable. These dogs have a presence about them. There's something just about them that attracts people to them. I say that it's the health, because when you're healthier, you look better. You look more attractive. Your coat has a different shine. You walk with your head up. It's easier to present yourself in a form of confidence, right? Because you're not sick, because you're not dying on the inside, because you are better. You are actually better. I forgot to go live on Instagram. But when you add this genetics into this fresh genetics into the gene pool, what you have is known as hybrid vigor, right? This allows fresh new hybrid vigor. That's hybrid vigor. That's something that was evident in the original Boerboel, because you have, let's go back to the slide again, you have multiple genetic packages. So here we go. When we go to this original slide, this is the original Boerboel. This is composed of 14 different breeds. Each dog has something that we felt was admirable. Each dog brings something valuable to the breed. That's why they were included out of purpose. They were breeding dogs for purpose, dogs that were valuable to the farmer. These dogs were assets. They were the first line of defense. They were companions. They were a form of therapy. They were a form of companionship, defense, guardians, right? And so that's why they included the dogs. It wasn't because they were trying to meet the market demand.
So at first, these dogs were brought together, one, out of necessity to fulfill a need, and two, to do it, they used what they had.
Exactly.
They used what they had on hand. They used the best of the best of what they had on hand to create the Boerboel, right?
The best of the best. There you go. There you go. How do they determine what's the best? Well, they go by what's valuable. You know what I'm saying? What this dog is more of an effective deterrent. This dog is a more effective guardian, right? It's bigger, it's stronger. You know, he's
right
more.
Back. Let me get some, brother.
Go ahead. Yeah, so we getting into these genetic packages. So you start talking about it. Remember, we always go back to the original Boerboel. As we evolve, we start to get to this Rambo dog. Now Rambo has got a big. This is more desirable. So we eliminated all of the reds. We eliminated all of the oranges, all of the blacks. Right? We eliminated as we're breeding, as we're doing our selections. This is the process. We're eliminating dogs with the red head, the red vision, the red drive. We want to make our drive more blue. We want to make it more consistent. We want to make it more, oh my goodness.
I want to kind of get a visual representation and ask you a question, right, real quick if I can. So if I have this dog, right, I have this girl, her name is Nadia. She's the one that'll be going home next week. But she's Barack and Daisy's daughter. So Daisy is a SABS registered, SABS appraised female along with NABA. Barack is NABA and ARBA appraised, right? So say I have this female. Her father isn't SABS, but he's NABA and ARBA. So this female is lost forever to the SABS gene pool, correct?
Unless they allow that basically, in long story short, yes.
So what if I take this great female, or say she's both SABS, or she's both NABA, or she's both ARBA. Say I take this female and sell her to her new owner, and her owner never appraises her. Her owner never appraises her, but she turns out to be everything we want her to be. And then she has puppies. What happens to those puppies? Are those puppies now left out of the gene pool because they never got appraised, even if they turn out to be outstanding dogs? So their parents are fully registered, fully appraised, turn out a great puppy. The puppy is sold to another client that doesn't really care about that. But so now that dog is never appraised or registered. That line is starting to get lost now.
That line is eliminated from the gene pool. They can no longer contribute, whether the genetics are good or bad.
No matter
Right.
how good she is cold from the program because she didn't get appraised.
That is right, because we felt that whatever reason, we basically trying to shrink the gene pool down to these desired dogs and reproduce for
This
the
girl
next
want to get
generation.
up, she want to get down, she want to be on the camera, off the camera.
Yeah,
8 weeks old, 23 pounds. I just had to let y'all know that.
beautiful. And that's an example of selection, though, because so let's say that the dog was 13 pounds, right? You would say, wait a minute, something is wrong here. This dog might not be the best dog for breed, but based off of your previous generations, you have a reasonable expectation for size at 8 weeks old. You know what the mom was at 8 weeks old. You know what Barack was at 8 weeks old. So you can reasonably expect, based off of the theory of heritability, that this dog is going to reach a certain size as an adult, right? Certain features as far as head and chest, bone is going to be evident in the next generation,
Yes.
right? So Mr. Price is hitting it on the head. He says the K gene was was never a part of the original Boerboel. True, that may be it may be some truth to that, but we do know that it's a part of the new modern day Boerboel.
It's there now.
It's there now, and it's there to stay. And
there's no way of taking it out.
No way of taking it out, and with good reason, though. Because remember, let's get back to the slides. We don't want this.
Good girl.
We don't. We this is called homozygosity, where all of the traits represented are succinct. They are exact copies of each other. The problem with this, yes, it may produce a dog that mimics the breed standard. Yes, it may produce a dog that has all the ideal traits and characteristics, but long term, we know that this is not going to recreate itself time and time again without some form of a defect, some form of undesirable traits passed down. When you get that's where the black dog comes in, because the black dog, they say, yes, there are some unknown traits, or there are some unknown varieties in the temperament. We don't know exactly 100% what it is that we're producing. So
if you guys don't kind of get where we're going or trying to head, we're trying to figure out how not to stagnate to breed and try not to lose valuable genetics in the process. So losing valuable genetics by disqualifying dogs based solely on the color or based solely on they got lost in the system. Again, this didn't happen to this dog, but just pretend that if this dog was the parents are highly appraised on different registries, she's sold, she's not appraised, but she's bred to another dog in the like situation. So you got the ideal puppies, the ideal dog standards you want, but they're lost to the system now. So we're trying to figure out, is there a way to bring those dogs back into the system?
And that's why we look forward. That's why we celebrate inclusivity. That's why we want to welcome all Boerboels to the United Boerboel, because that's why we're not going to discriminate. We're not going to eliminate based on the color, as long as the dog.
They're going to be 100% Boerboels.
For sure. For sure.
But I got to get that leash like he was telling me last week, because this girl is hyper. She's active.
I'm telling you, bro, that make all.
Let me pull her up and I'll be right back, brother.
That's going to make your life so much easier.
So everybody can see on Boerboel Breakdown that we got them.
That's for sure. Yes. And when you see again the heavy black mass, that's the trait that we deem to be desired. So the same thing with the Boerboels. We want to
say heavy black mass.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking.
And then let me stop playing. I'll be right back.
And it's a reason for that, though. It's a value. It's a reason for that is written into the standard. Yes. If you notice, the dogs with the heavy black mass, they carry a certain genetic package that is desired within the breed standard. Why? Well, maybe they noticed a reoccurring theme of massive chest, massive muscle, and massive heads, massive bone, right? And so that is something that we have deemed to be sought after. because it makes the dog more impressive in appearance. It makes the dog more desired. It makes the dog more formidable. It gives this imposing figure of strength. It basically fits hand in hand with the definition of a Boerboel. So we're looking for these traits. Now we come across the dog with the black gene. Okay, so it has it we just using this as just general description. None of this does not apply to the Boerboel with the K gene. This is all for illustration purposes only. Right? We're not saying that the black dogs carry an undesired vision gene or undesired imagination or intelligence, right? This is just a visual representation of traits and genes, how that they are passed down. So we need this fresh genetic package to keep our breed vibrant, to keep our dogs vigorous, and it's an asset to the breed. The long story short, in some total of the genetics. And so I just really wanted to make sure that that's understood. It's very fascinating to me personally. It's something that I feel that is close. I hold it close to my heart because it's a situation that I have always been curious about, coming from the game dog background, where the dogs are heavily bred towards a certain dog because they carry certain genetic packages, because you're able to test and evaluate the function and abilities. Is very different with the Boerboel, where we're basing our selections purely off of the desired look. We're not evaluating the performance.
So here's a good question about Alberto Jorge. He asked a good question. How would you stay within the breed guidelines without being exclusive on certain traits and colors? I know you're going to have a better answer than I will on this, Jordan. I will just start off by saying that there's four registries right now, and there's an upcoming one that's going to be one of your primary choices that you should go to. But there's four registries, and all of them don't have the same guidelines when it comes to color as it is now. So if I want a Boerboel from a top breeder like Jordan in Ohio, or someone like Savage Kingdom Boerboels, Florida, or someone like Texas bred or Timbuktu, but they have different registries with different standards. So they got different registries with different standards. How can I get the best from over here and the best from over there and stay within one guideline? You can't, because there's multiple guidelines already.
That is where these breed guidelines fall short, because this is why I'm a big advocate for evaluating the dog's performance in some form or fashion. We have to measure the dog. Can it run? Can it jump? Can it pull? Is it strong? Because these breed guidelines are artificial. They are artificial. This is my position, and I'm a firm believer in this, because I don't see how these certain breed guidelines are beneficial for the long-term maintenance and preservation of this breed. Right? If we're saying we're going to eliminate the black dogs from the gene pool, and you're saying that this is because of the health, or this is because of the temperament, these unknown variances start to arrive, the black dogs become a dominant force in the gene pool.
So you're saying basically that nobody on the farm was saying, hey, I'm not going to let this liver-nosed dog protect my cattle. Even though it's big, strong, courageous, functional, adaptable, and fearless, it's got a liver nose, so I'm not going to let it protect my dogs.
That's exactly what I'm saying. The liver-nosed dog on the farm could have been one of the best stud dog. He could have been one of the best he could be one of the best protectors. That's why the liver-nosed gene is there in the beginning. That's why the liver-nosed gene is evident, because somewhere along the line, the liver-nosed dog proved himself to be worthy. He proved himself to be valued. He proved himself to be an asset. So we include the liver-nosed gene. But what we're doing now, if we sticking to the breed guidelines, we're saying, look, because this dog has a liver nose, we're going to eliminate all liver noses.
So somebody's opinion came along, even though this dog was functional, protective, fearless, great to all standards. Somebody came along and said, I don't dig a liver nose. You know what? Let's cull them from the program and all their attributes along with it because it's a liver nose.
Right. We don't want liver nose.
Okay.
So that's the problem with the breed guidelines. That's the problem with all breed guidelines. I don't want to just try to say it about the Boerboel. It's a problem with all breed guidelines. If you don't have a legitimate reason, let's say, okay, we're going to eliminate the liver nose because liver nose dogs are known to be produce skin cancer.
There, okay.
Now you have a legitimate reason.
Yes.
Now you have a justification. We for selecting against the liver nose because it affects the long-term viability of the breed. We do not want.
Got you.
We don't want to put out skin issues in the breed, right?
We took a long time to get around to it, but we getting to the good stuff now.
Right now,
we get to the meat and potatoes. So if you've been sticking around, if you stuck around, we're getting to the meat and potatoes of the issues and about how line breeding and inbreeding is essential. But then you got to have an outcross. We're not talking about bringing in a different breed, but bring back some what? Old new stuff or new old stuff?
It has to be alternative. So, like the Eisterberg dog, the Eisterberg bloodline. You know, they were selected off a different criteria. They added their values. They deemed themselves to be worthy. They lived on the farm in South Africa. Remember, because of these environment, the South African environment, this is why it's called the South African Boerboel, because it's native to South Africa. It has proved to be able to survive in the South African climate under the South African conditions with the threats that's native to this demographic, to this geographic, right? So that's why it's the South African Boerboel. So because it comes from the north side of South Africa doesn't mean it's any less South African than it coming from the east side of South Africa, and so on and so forth, because these dogs are maintained in this environment for X amount of years. It's still Boerboel, no less. It's coming off the farm. It's proved its value. It's proved its worthiness. But what we're going to do because of a human preference, because we have written these guidelines, we have written this breed standard. We're going to say, we're going to eliminate them because they don't fit into our personal preferences. That's where the problem with the guidelines comes in. It has to be a justification why we don't want this in, let's say if the black dog was bringing in, let's say, oh, we don't know what the black dog is bringing in. Well, we do know what the black dog is bringing in because we have so many different generations to evaluate. We have all of these different, we have seen it living in people's houses. We've seen it in the genetics, the heritability factor being expressed under many different situations and circumstances. So we do know what this variety is adding to the gene pool in preference or non-preferred, right?
Yep.
So that's where it becomes impossible to make a case against the black Boerboel or against these certain traits. You know what I'm saying? So that's why
and this is the problem I have with the guidelines, because I deal with multiple clients, some who have their first dog and have dreams of getting a second and third, or some that's coming to me for their second, third, and they're like, Savage, I got a dog over here, but it's from this registry and they only allow that. But I want a dog from this guy over here, but they're with this registry that doesn't allow that, but they allow this. And now I want from you, and your registry takes this, but not that. So it's all these great dogs that I want to bring together, but the guidelines are different, and it doesn't make any sense because these dogs still have the fierceness, still have the structure, still have the guardian mentality, the temperament. They have everything I want. It's just that this parent had this coloring, and this puppy came out with that coloring, and so what can I do? I'm stuck. I have to either stay in this registry or that registry or this. I can't cross registries because of guidelines. What do we do about this?
So it will be different if if these registries bless you with a participation, it allowed you to participate, and everybody is able to measure up in the same way, right? But
Yes.
the problem is it's a way of eliminating certain dogs, right? And this is what happens with a closed gene pool. The problem is that's why I breed to the dog, right? I'll breed to the dog that's in front of me. I know that this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm desiring. I don't really base it off the registry or the affiliation. I felt like that was limiting. That's limiting a program. Think about, okay, all my dogs is original dogs is AKC. If I wasn't able to include Bagheera to produce Balto, you see what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
I was saying, well, look, my allegiance to the AKC. I'm sticking with only AKC dogs. That is detrimental to the long-term validity of my breeding program. I was able to produce some very valuable specimens, some great breed contributors, because I was able to overlook the lines, these borders, these boundaries. I was able to overstep the boundaries and include dogs that I deem valuable for my breeding program, for my preferences. Right? I'm not gonna say, oh no, man, you got a beautiful dog, but because of my allegiance to the AKC, my allegiance to the United Boerboel Club's breed guidelines, I'm not going to allow this dog to participate. I don't want to allow this dog to contribute, right?
So you're telling me that this dog that has a liver nose, his brother is exceptional. His brother can go. His sister can go. But this dog that might even be better than his brothers and sisters is cut off. So if I have let me put it this way: if I have a all right dog from a litter and an outstanding dog from the litter, I can keep using the okay dog because it has a black muzzle and it has a black nose. But the outstanding one that's checking all the blocks, it just has a liver nose. Because of a certain registry, I can't use it anymore, and it's X'd out of it's X'd out of the Boerboel world.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's exactly that. If you allegiance to the class, Mr. Price got a great explanation. So he said, make sure you probably address why the liver noses were called. They gave the justification for the removal of the liver nose is because they were more susceptible to skin cancer. Now, okay, that's a justification. Yeah. Oh, if that is evidence behind,
we're using examples.
Yeah, if there is evidence to support that, if that is evidence to support that the liver noses dogs frequently,
and we have to remember where we're at now. That's in South Africa. My skin color in South Africa, it protected me from the sun in South Africa, right? My melanoma, it protected me from that. Now it has some different attributes now where I'm at now, right? It has some pros and some cons. So it might have been detrimental someplace else, or had a little bit of liability someplace else. But we're in the U.S. now, where things are a little bit different.
Yes, yeah, that's a good way to kind of explain it.
Where are we at now?
So we're right now. Okay, let's say Mr. Price has the liver noses, right? He has the dogs functioning and participating on his farm. They have deemed themselves worried. They have deemed themselves worthy. Mr. Price continues to use the liver noses because he has evaluated that as an asset to his breeding program. He doesn't find it to be susceptible to skin cancer. He doesn't find it to be defective in his breeding practice. So because of that, he chooses to contribute. Those dogs are contributing. Those dogs are valued. Those dogs are deemed to be assets. So that when we're looking at the function, is the dog able to produce naturally? Is the dog able to run with the children, with the hogs? Is the dog able to do? Okay, here go Mr. Price calling in now. Hold on.
I would love to have him on the show. Man. He's a wealth of knowledge. If you guys aren't familiar with Mr. Price, just about every show he's putting in a lot of good insights and opinions.
Hello.
Here you go, Mr. Price.
Hey, brother. Hey, guys. Man, I'm sorry. I was in the drive-through at Bengals and trying to get dinner for my family and all, and trying to send that message to you real quick. And now I got to drive. I'm like, dang,
Yeah, it's all good. We rather hear it from you anyway. Mr. Price is also a student of the Boerboel. He studies, he's constantly involved. I ran into him in a class at the Institute of Canine Biology. So he's speaking from a standpoint not only of experience, but he also has done his research.
Look, I'm getting closer to the camera so I can hear him.
And so the liver nose Boerboel is part of the original breed. I mean, it's in there. It comes up every now and then, unless you got a liver nose that you breed like I do. And because my girl had certain traits and characteristics that I love and appreciate, and so there was no use in, like you guys saying, to get rid of that, because you want that in your Boerboel. Now in South Africa, because the liver nose doesn't produce black or melanin in their skin, it makes them more susceptible to skin cancer, kind of like white people versus black people. You know, we get in the sun a lot longer. You know what I mean?
Okay, so Mr. Price, let me ask you though. Where's the evidence of that? Because the sun in South Africa is the same sun in North America. We all, it's not like it's a different sun.
It's where it's like how much the dog is exposed to it. You know what I mean? That's like people that sunbathing. You know what I mean? Their body is completely exposed to the sun, so they wind up with more issues. And if you don't have the melanin in your skin, protects your skin from the sun, correct?
The UV rays, yeah, correct. And what he's saying is, I'm here in Texas, or my native land of Florida, I'm going to get more sun than you will in Ohio. So in Florida, I'm gonna get more sun, more direct sunlight than you.
Right. That's why my dogs with like liver. I definitely, if a family in Texas or Arizona or somewhere wants one of my dogs, I tell them, this is what you got to take into consideration. I prefer not to send my dog like that to that area, because I don't want it to run into this issue, or you to run into the owner to run into this issue.
So have you ran into
things that you can?
Have you ran into the liver nose producing skin cancer?
That's the reason that they're cold, brother, from South Africa.
But
that's why they kept them out of.
So they don't cause skin cancer. They just give you less protection from it. They don't cause it. They just give you a little bit less protection.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So you can actually put sunblock on that dog's nose if you're going to be out in the, on the beach or something like that, or in the sun all day with your dog. You can put sunblock on that dog to help protect it, like a baby. The baby formula sunblock. You put it on the dog's head, on the top of his head, on his back, and on his nose to protect it. Because it's sunburn too.
So hold on, Mr. Price. Do you really believe that they was putting sunblock on the dog's nose in South Africa on the farm?
No. But you could.
They called them. They got rid of them.
But wait a minute. So my point is, the liver nose evidently somewhere down the line in the origins, it was an asset.
Yes, sir. But here's the thing, and the thing, a lot of people aren't telling you. A lot of them are still breeding them. It's just that's when you don't see the dog, you don't see the parents.
Okay, so I'm gonna
that's what I was trying to say. You might not see the parents of those dogs. So we're doing it more up front. We'll tell you that this father is liver nose and this mother is regular, and here goes the result of the puppies, because I got the best genetics from both of them. That's what Mr. Price is doing. He's saying in South Africa, they'll sell you a dog within standards, but not tell you who the parents were, or the parents was liver nose. They won't tell you that part.
So here go my issue with that. Let me speak on this 1 second, because let's talk about the French Mastiff. The French Mastiff, the liver nose is desired, right? If you got a black nose French Mastiff, they eliminating that from the gene pool, right? But if we see the French Mastiff, they have effectively eliminated black noses. They say that the black noses is an inclusion of the Mastiff. But the French Mastiff is one of the most unhealthiest. They all look alike, right? They all look alike. They all dang near identical. But it's one of the most unhealthiest masters, has one of the shortest lifespans. Do we want that for the Boerboel?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm saying the disinclusion of these genetics, like the black genes, the liver nose genes, this keeps our dogs vibrant. This hybrid, this keeps the genetic pool variant. It keeps it varied, right? So I think that it's detrimental to the breed to eliminate liver noses if you are evidence of your dogs working on the farm, being valuable, being an asset. I think what was your main dog was what was the dog's name?
Isabella.
No, it was coming off the Cumore, the first dogs. What was his name?
Coolmore
Raptor. Was he not a liver nose, or he produced liver nose?
No, he's not a liver nose.
But he produced some.
Yes, he does. He carries that liver gene. Yes, he does.
And one of your top stud dogs was a liver nose.
That's right. He still is. Yeah. His name is Bishop.
So do you see what I'm saying? What if we eliminated Bishop from the program, and now you don't have this valuable set of genetics that you need, that you deemed that was valuable?
Well, that's why I don't cut them. They're not in my book. You know what I mean?
And we're not culling ours either. We've only produced a few liver nose, but we're keeping those in our programs too.
And I think it's smart. I think it's smart because we need to evaluate the dog long term. We need to look at how does it, produce what versus his offsprings, his siblings.
Right. And my girl Isabella is one of the bravest dogs I got. She bites firecrackers.
See what I'm saying? So it all.
When most dogs running from firecrackers, bottle rockets and stuff like that, she'll attack them.
Yeah, that's what I feel like it's important that we keep the whole point that I'm trying to make is, we want to keep our gene pool valuable. We want to keep our gene pool varied. We don't want to have high incidences of the same dogs reproducing over and over again. And that's what basically essentially is line breeding and inbreeding. That's the problem, the inherent problem of it, how a closed gene pool, and when you're talking about managing pure breeds.
Yeah, and we're talking about liver nose, but we're highlighting liver nose, but we're also talking about blacks, blues, black and tan tricolors. We're talking about wolf grays. We're talking about different dogs that it's in the gene. It's originally here. It just used to be called against, and people don't understand about undesirable. They think undesirable means that it's a mutt and it was just brought in. If it was undesirable, that means that it was there. They just didn't want it because of preference. So they didn't want it because of preference, but it's not because we took a bully, took a Rottweiler, took a different dog and brought it into the gene. So people gotta understand that undesirable doesn't mean that I just brought a mutton here and I brought a Rottweiler and that's how I got a black and tan.
Right. We speaking from a visual aspect, undesired look, not undesired performance. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, because we're trying to arrive at this consistent look that reproduces itself over and over again. This is the ideology behind purebred dog breeding.
Correct.
Yes.
Like some people about the piebald, if it doesn't have over at least 30% brown,
white.
It's considered a DQ, or if it has the freckles in the white, it's considered as a DQ.
They call it ticking. If it's ticking, they're gonna DQ it.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Ticking. Yeah. So that's absolutely that's crazy, because you wipe out a whole dog, because of something that it has.
And then you confuse people because the dog is ticking. And it gets disqualified, which means it has spots and it's white. It gets disqualified. You get new people come into the game and say, that dog had tick marks on it or whatever. That wasn't a purebred. They get it confused. And that drives me crazy all the time. Oh, man, you mixed something into that dog because it was ticking, or because it was piebald, or because it was black and tan.
Or because they had longer hair.
Mixed in dogs. No, it was just undesirable.
Exactly.
That drives me crazy. People hit me up and comment all the time, man. Stop I know you added Rottweiler in there. I know you added this in there. That's the only way you got it because it was undesirable. Brother, sister, do you know what undesirable means? It doesn't mean that it was just added in.
Right. It just means that it was selected against. It means that it was selected against. There you have it. So,
but
Mr.
I just like that the registries let people go with that narrative. I don't like how registries know that undesirable meant that we bred against it, but it was still there. They let people assume that that means that other people are mixing stuff in to get it, and they know better than that. So I don't like how they let people. They won't never tell the truth and say, nah, wait a second, you kind of got it wrong. It belonged there, but we don't want it there. And they let people think that it was never there.
Yeah, so you got to remember too, at the same time, the registries, the organizations, they have to uphold this purebred dog ideology, right? They have to uphold this purebred dog thought process, so they can't really speak against it because it goes against everything that they're saying when they're talking about establishing a pure breed. Mr. Price, I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to share some of your experience because we have met him in that Price. We keep bumping into each other. We never met in person, but we keep having these conversations that always informed. But talk about a little bit about what you learned in the Institute of Canine Biology. What were the facts? What was the information? This is with Dr. Kara Bucharest, one of the leading canine researchers in the industry right now. Talk about what she said in terms of preserving a dog breed that was essential to be the downfall of a dog breed. Let me know.
A closed gene pool is detrimental to the breed because, like, if you're not bringing in new blood, then obviously you're running in a circle, pretty much. So then these dogs now, the issues, you're doubling, like you were saying before, you're doubling up on issues, health issues or whatnot, from various parents, and it's coming closer where now you're at a bottleneck where your dog's not producing as many puppies. Like how you were saying that, like for instance, a lion, how a lion or a wolf would produce so many puppies to you're replenishing the pack. Herd, but it's not herd. The pack. You're replenishing the pack because of multiple numbers. Because there's variable things that will happen throughout the life of that puppy. That some dogs are gonna get caught, in a trap, or some get eaten by other wild animals, or get sick for some reason, or get harmed, or whatever. And so, when the dog has plenty of puppies, it's like
natural selection to keep the ones that need to be alive.
Exactly.
So, right.
And so where we run into an issue a lot of times as breeders, because weak puppies, we baby a weak puppy and make it survive, instead of letting,
Mother Nature take its course. Right. So, exactly. So let me pick up a little bit on that, elaborate on that a little bit, because we want to touch on what makes these dogs, a wolf pack or a lion herd, a lion pack, how do they maintain their genetic fitness? Is because what they do is, at a certain point, a young male, he got to leave. He got to go find his. They run him off.
They run him off, and with the level of violence that he is like, hey, it's either I'm gonna die or I'm gonna fly. You know what I'm saying? And so that level of violence that they bring to him, it makes him like, yeah, I got to go. It's time to get out of here. Even though he don't want to, because all he's ever known was his mom and his sisters and his cousins and whatnot. But then his daddy and his mom and sister and cousins all turn on him. Like,
they all turn on him. They say, "Wait a minute, man, you eating up too much food. Nah, you got to go. You and your big brother, you and your brothers, y'all eating up too much food. We can't sustain. Y'all got to go hunt on your own. You got to go find your own woman. You got to go find your own wife. You got to get away from around here, bro, because these are mine. This is my house. This is my house. I'm the king around here. You got to go. And they kick those males out. It might be 3 or 4 males that's adolescents. And they got to go out here and fend on their young. They got to prove it. They got to prove their worth to themselves. They got to prove their contribution. And they may go take over another old wolf's pack. Like,
I'm glad you said that, because when they take over the next pack, the only thing that determines that is going to be size, strength, endurance, and ferocity. The survival skills necessary. Nobody's going to say that lion is liver nose. He can't run the pride. If he can outdo the old males, if he can out ferocious them, out stamina them, out fight them, out survive them, it's his pack now. It's his pack now, and his genes will be passed along. If he can't, they won't.
If he can't, they won't. That's natural culling. That's the way that the genes maintain their fitness.
And Mr. Price said it, hit it right on the head. As breeders, if we have 16 puppies, we're trying to keep 16 puppies alive. In the wild, that's not going to happen. If there's 16 puppies, 5 or 6 of them are going to survive. Some of them just aren't going to be strong enough to survive on their own. Some of them might become prey to predators as young. Some might break their leg traveling, or some innocent accident or a snake bite or something takes them out. But it's only going to be 2 or 3 that survives into adulthood.
And those are the strongest ones. That's right.
And they could also be the smartest too. You know,
intelligence, yeah.
And the smartest, no doubt.
Right, because it ain't always about every fight and every battle. You know, because that could be detrimental to the dog in the wild. He got to pick and choose his battles. You know, is it really worth it? Is this a fight that I could win?
I can kill 5 hyenas, but there's 17 over there, so I'm gonna be smart enough to walk away or wait till some other lions come. But there might be that idiot. I'm the lion. I'm taking all 17 of these mugs, and he gets torn to pieces. Right. So you gotta have some brains.
Right, but he wasn't scared though. But he wasn't scared. Yeah, he was a fool though.
But guess what? He ain't here no more either. He ain't here no more either.
Yeah, let that be a lesson to all them fools. You better know when to jump. You better know when to play that fool. You better know when to act a fool, because it's a time and a place for everything. You get your head busted. Yeah. So at the end of the day, and that's what happens but the problem is, you know, we gotta be relentless. We gotta be.
So what's the solution? What's the solution to this? We've been talking about this for an hour and 20 minutes. What's the solution to this registry taking black and tans, but not liver nose? This registry taking blacks, but not black and tans. This one not taking blacks at all. So what's the solution to somebody that have dogs from all these different backgrounds and they're trying to start their kennels? Or what's the solution for them that have pedigrees scattered all across the place? Still great dogs, outstanding dogs with outstanding pedigrees behind them, but the paperwork they have from them won't let them coalesce together. What's the solution for that?
Go ahead, Mr. Price.
Finding a registry that's all inclusive. Like with me, I'm with CKC.
You're with who?
CKC.
Okay.
Continental Kennel Club. With that
Gotcha.
registry, all the colors, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? As far as the dilute, the piebald, the liver nose, and so forth. And so all the colors are included, but the dog, I mean, obviously has to be a purebred.
Yes.
And so that's to me that's a beautiful thing, because there's no issue regarding appraisal. There's a one-time fee that's paid when you register, which is a plus. The puppy applications are all free to the breeder. The puppy buyers then register puppies. However you got it set up, whether it's full registry or pet limited or whatever.
That sounds like a very similar idea to what you got going on, Jordan. What we're creating over here.
Yeah, thank you for your contribution, Mr. Price. We're gonna catch up with you, man. We waiting on you to come all the way back. I'm gonna close it out here with my final thoughts. So that's why we have created the United Boerboel Club, with real, true, measure, accurate data. Well, that's why we champion and celebrating the data. You're going to get real measurements. You're going to get a real head measurement, a real height measurement, a real length of the body. We're going to also take into consideration the fitness. We're going to do everything that's going to be recorded. It's going to be visual. It's going to be available through the links on the United Boerboel Club, the Boerboel Breeders Registry. And there you have these profiles of all of the different attributes and traits that we deem valuable. So there you can make an informed decision as a breeder, as a buyer. You can figure out what this breeder deems to be assets, deemed to be values to his program, his or her program, and what they're trying to reproduce in the next generation. We're going to have visual evidence. We're going to have tracking. We're going to be allowing it. I got the new software that we are able to do coefficients of inbreedings, virtual matings. So you can check the matings and you can see before you actually complete the mating, what is it you're trying to reproduce. So that's the solution. That's why we have presented this way, because they address the need, the ever need.
So you were telling me, you were explaining it to me about how you will have different tiers of dogs. So it won't be something that a kennel will have to do, but if they do certain tests on their dogs, that will add points, or was it diamonds, or it was going to add something
Stars.
to stars. It was going to add stars to your dog. So a kennel doesn't have to do this, but it has an evaluation process that you would have that would add stars that clients can look and say, hey, this dog has this star, this dog has that star. And if that star is important to you, then you can go look at that dog or that kennel.
And it's not just a one and done. This is an evolution. A dog can evolve over time. It's similar to what is done with the Schutzhund working dog. It's similar to what's done with the police dogs, how they selecting the police dogs. So over time, your dog can become IPO1 if it does the training or whatever, right? If it passes these qualifications, now it becomes IPO2, IPO3, Schutzhund 1, Schutzhund 2, and you have these different degrees of a dog, these different levels of a dog. And we know that certain traits are going to be inherited by the next generation. So we're able to measure these traits. Is this dog able to perform this routine? And it's not, it's a simple performance measure. We got a good question here from the beginning. I want to make sure that we answer this too before I close it out. But like I said, what we're trying to do is all encompassing. We want to measure. We're going to give value to the pedigree. We're going to give weight to the pedigree. So not all pedigrees is not created equal. When you're looking at a pedigree, you'll be able to say, well, I want a dog with a 5-star pedigree. This shows that the owner or the breeder has taken certain steps to establish the value in their dog, to establish these abilities in their dog, to make sure that we are passing down from the next generation to the next generation things that we deem to be valuable, things that we deem to be assets to the breed. This is the goal. This is the role of a true organization, to make just to record. It's not to try to eliminate. It's not to try to supervise, or it's trying to regulate. We want to make sure everybody is included. Right. I want to make sure that I answer this question because this is a good one. What it took to create the first Boerboel and how many breeds were involved. From my understanding, it's 14 different breeds, 14 different varieties of Mastiff, Hound, Terrier, and Bulldog. 14 different varieties. And then these were all included. You got the African Cinnamon, you got the Bulldog, the Bull Mastiff, the milking, the Rhodesian Ridgeback. You got a dog that they were milking in South Africa. He even said that it might be some terriers in there. We know that they had the Jack Russells. I've talked to some people at the Isterberg. They said that their original dogs was crossed in with the what was the Saint Bernard, and I got the evidence. I'm doing a whole complete article on that. So the original Iceberg Mastiff included the Saint Bernard. So there is a whole nother fresh gene pool. That's why I feel like it's one of the only alternative bloodlines that's available in the Boerboel breed is the Iceberg Mastiff. If you look at any time that those two genetics come together, when they include the Iceberg Mastiff with the Boerboel, you see something that's very unique, something that's with this vigor. You know, when you breeding two dogs that's unrelated, I think that, or as distantly related as possible, this is when you see this explosion of genetics. If you look at my program, if you look at how we included Bonafide Cairo, we included Barbarians Bagheera. These dogs are completely unrelated, but you see fresh new genetic packages coming together when we put these dogs together. That is very valuable because it's vibrant. And then it's just adding so much to the gene. We included Targus Uli. You know, when you see every time we breed these dogs into the line, you see a new variety of the exotic Boerboel, a new version of the exotic Boerboel. And we still see our exotic traits being passed down, but we see a whole new variety arriving. Now this allows us a lot of different routes that we can take with our breeding program based off of what we see to be valuable. So, you know, that's the bottom line is, you know, the end of the day, we have the solutions. We got the answers. We're trying to come with and change the game like it's never been done before.
Well, brother, let me tell you, my head is blown, man. Jordan be giving me all this homework to go throughout the week. But I tell you what, some of our shows are going to be more structured, and they're going to be like this where we're more informational. And then some shows we're going to sit back and shoot the breeze and talk. So every week you might get something different. It might be more informational, might be more structured. Some might be more sit back with guests, talk, chat, and what's going on. But we're always going to break down. We're always going to discuss the Boerboel and give you the latest up-to-date information. Sometimes we might just hit you with a little bit of gossip in the Shake Room type deal, right? But every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm not smart, so I don't know what it is on the West Coast, but we're going to do the most. And you're going to we're going to have a great show. Again, I've kicked off Instagram from right now, hacked off. So we're going to fix that. You can find us on Facebook, Jordan's YouTube, all of his Instagram, social medias. Come tune in weekly for us. You can catch it. Even though we're live on Thursday, you can catch it Saturday morning when you're watching cartoons. You can sit here and watch the show, or in between basketball, football, you can catch the show. But again, structured shows like today, shooting the breeze shows like last week, and we also have our featured segments of raising your puppies, what to expect. Last week we did 8 through 16 weeks. In a week or so, we'll come back with 16 to 6 months.
Right. And don't forget, we got the Boerboel University coming through, where you're going to be able to pick up on these different areas of expertise. This is exclusive. This is not going to be available. This is going to be through the school app. We're not doing this. We're going to have private Zoom meetings for everybody that's trying to elevate, because at the same time, you know, we're in the industry. This is a market, and this is some things that we know. We want to just give it to you straight, but this is for our supporters. This is for the people that's rocking with us. What we doing on the school community. This is not, it can't be for everybody, because what people like to do, they basically want to steal the game away from us and then act like we didn't contribute or we didn't participate in the evolution of this breeding.
Boerboel University. So not only do we have breakdown and discuss, not only do we have Boerboel Universe, but Boerboel University, it seems like everything Boerboel is going through Jordan Pittman, Savage Kingdom, exotic Boerboels. We're going to lock it down, and we're going to share this wealth of knowledge with everybody in different capacities. We're going to have a Boerboel extravaganza, shows everything. The Boerboel Universe is up and running and live.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget, we got a show coming up in September 24th.
I always pass that mic to you like that, bro.
Don't forget, we got the show coming up. I put the link where we can get the shirts. Somebody, Bianca, she asked, where can we get the shirts? Don't forget, we got our first show September 21st for the United Boerboel Club. Is the Alpha Dog Showdown. Corsos, Boerboels, Presa Canarios, Dogo Argentinos, everything, Neapolitans, French Mastiff. We want to celebrate with the big dogs. Come celebrate with the big dogs. All right, come on through with us. This is the first one. Then we coming down to Florida. We're gonna make our way to Texas. We coming back in the summer in Ohio. We're going and anywhere else that we find better. We're going to Arizona. Everywhere that we can establish these branches, we're gonna come through. We're gonna celebrate y'all. But please believe it. The United Boerboel Club is here to stay, and we coming with so much valuable information and content. We're gonna make ourselves a foundation for the breed. That's something that's cemented. It's not gonna be something that's gonna fall off like you see with these other organizations that come and go, because we're really here for you. We're here for the people.
The Boerboel universe is real, and you can see it every week, not just on Thursdays, but throughout the week with the multiple shows that's going on, with the multiple with the Boerboel University that's about to start. So again, on all streaming platforms, we're going to be innovative. We're going to be innovative. We're going to be bringing you the up-to-date, livest information every week. And again, we teased it at the top of the show about getting stuck with Boerboels. When Boerboel University comes out, we'll teach new beginning breeders how to avoid some of those pitfalls, because we've all been in them and we've climbed out of them. So again, there's lots of stuff coming off the brain, and we want everybody to join in with the Boerboel universe. Just everybody who loves this breed, we're going to coalesce around each other, and we're going to just take it to a new stratosphere.
Yeah, straight up from the floor to the moon, how we do it, y'all. Listen, the biggest thing, hey, bro, I'm so excited about this business that you're gonna be bringing to the table, because I want to know some of them tricks and tips that you make sure that I got it understood. Now I got my base understanding, but I'm always a student. I'm always trying to learn something new, and I know that you got some tips and some tricks that I can use, because I'm trying to hit 150 million views also. You hear me? I can use 150 million views, okay? Hey, listen.
It's in the Boerboel Marketing 101.
Yeah, and we're going to build it up from the beginning. This is a great opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, board buddies. If you want to see from how it's done from the scratch, we can't tell everybody, but you come on over with us. We got the United Boerboel Club is in full effect. Appraisal coming up on Monday. Big appraisal coming up on Monday. We're going to try to start keeping it with some new shows coming throughout the week. We're going to be bringing in special guests. We're going to keep it. But at the end of the day, y'all, don't ever forget that this is for you. It's not about us. We done had our success. We got our blessings in advance. We trying to give back. We feel indebted to the breed. The dogs have done so much for us. This is our way of celebrating them and being the dog's best friend. Not
and
just
remember, everybody, if you're achieving all your dreams and goals, you're not dreaming high enough or setting your goals high enough. And at the Boerboel universe, the universe is our goal for the Boerboels, the universe. And so we won't stop, can't stop. We're going to keep on till one of us drop, and then the other one's going to pick us up, and we're going to keep going, board buddies.
Board buddies, we got your back. Don't forget, Thursdays, tune in. Savage Kingdom. Hey, y'all, much love. I appreciate y'all signing out. We're going to catch back up with you next week. And in between time, y'all, make sure you stay safe, stay dedicated, stay purposeful, oriented. Make sure that you inspiring someone. You never know what the kind words could do for someone. Try to uplift. Your words is very powerful. So make sure you say something nice. Do the best that you can. Give it your all. And I promise you, we're gonna be right back next week with the same thing. It's more energy, more effort, more information, y'all. Much love.
No rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and gloves. Now you got a deal run up. No rush, go and move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace and love turn to peace and now you got a deal run up. Whole gang, whole man, old school, young jam.